We try with the Phuket Insight to put something back into our industry. I think that's always important. We have a good business here. This is our roots here. We consult on so many projects. Over the years, we've done probably 40 to 50 projects on the island. We talk to the international hotel groups and we interface with that. So certainly we have good knowledge. I think it's important to get out reputable figures and certainly a good business forum, which is talking about hospitality and property and tourism issues. So we like to think that we're probably, our reports provide a firm basis for outside investment and for people seeing what's real in Phuket. Certainly in our work, we do have access to a lot of data out there, and so we collect data on a regular basis, both for projects and independently. But we publish these reports really not because we need the PR, we have a good client base, but simply as a service back to Phuket. We're trying to put something back in and raise the bar of information here, and to provide a platform of people what they would expect, whether they be in Singapore or Hong Kong, but certainly in Phuket, to say what's real in the marketplace, what transactions are happening, what's news is out there. So it's a lot of extra work, but I think it's important to, as I said, to service our industry and put something back.
Well, you've just brought out recently your hotel market update for the mid-year. How much work does it you have to put into it?
Certainly it's a lot of work. I mean, over the past few years, we've been producing the C9 hotel market reports certainly on a regular basis. We try to get these every 6 months. So we go back and we really try to provide these for hoteliers and for tourism people to look back at what the real numbers are. We're tracking airport arrivals, we're tracking tourism trends, we're tracking what hotels are in the pipeline and how the operating hotels are performing. So it's really an analytical piece, really providing a real picture, our boots on the ground figures of what's happening in Phuket. In terms of tourism data, I think Thailand is quite good in terms of the airport data, the AOT data, and the immigration figures. We see consistency in that. We can take that information, look back at the hotel occupancies and see how that's being derived from. So, it's about as good as you're going to get in this market.
Okay. So what are the main highlights you come out with just recently?
I think something is certainly that we're anticipating, or actually AOT is anticipating by the end of this year that we're going to have a new all-time high for airport arrivals. That's a composition of arrivals at the airport, be it domestic or be it international. We're looking at 4 million, and that's going to be the highest figure ever. Last year was 3.2, which is a record year as well. So I think that's going to be a big growth figure. That's going to be well over 20% from last year, year-on-year growth, and it's a good number.
You're talking about just international, not Thai tourists?
International and domestic. International and domestic arrivals by air. It's hard to triangulate and get information about arrivals by bus or by boat, but the airport arrival figure correlates to tourism overall. Some people, there's often confusion. People see figures about total airport passengers. They see figures of 6-7 million. Now these are departures and arrivals. So again, it's been 3.2 has been the historical high, and now we're going for 4 million in 2011. I think what's important for us, and we've seen a big boost certainly, is in direct flights. We're seeing more charter flight service, we're seeing a little more low-cost carrier service and more direct flights. So that's really spurring a volume-based model.
I think you said Patong, you reckon at the moment it's 82% occupancy.
For the first half of the year, Patong,
yeah, it seems incredibly high.
Patong, again, we're dealing with tourist class hotels. Patong has really been the superstar of the market. When we're looking at the hotel pipeline, and the growth in Patong, within 5 years, Patong is going to account for 50% of the hotel rooms on the entire island. Certainly when we're seeing trading in that area, Patong certainly is out trading the entire area in terms of its product. We've seen Patong, whereby the island, over the past few years, we've seen kind of a attraction to more of a seasonal trading, but Patong has somehow outperformed that. It's trading month on month, from strength to strength.
Are you really including, say, all the guest houses and condominiums, apartments?
We're including hotels, hotel
Just
market,
hotels.
Correct. We're looking at hotels. Once you go down to
1, 2 star?
We're looking at basically, registered hotels, which would start at budget and economy hotels all the way up to deluxe hotels. So if you're looking at guest houses and other things, you can't track occupancy in those. It's quite difficult. But it's quite in terms of our data on the hotels there, it's quite solid in terms of how they're performing. There's high occupancy, but again, it's come at a price, which is rates. I think that's what everybody's talking about, what's going to happen to rates. And we've seen, interesting in the Russia and China are now 25% of the market, and that's certainly Phuket. After the global financial crisis, things changed. Phuket had been not necessarily dominated by Eurocentric customers, but certainly there was a large degree of Europeans who come and bask on the beach. But certainly we saw more domestic travelers and Asian-based travelers after the global financial crisis. We think that's going to not change for the next decade.